Hi, I'm Karen with Quilts Are My Passion. Thank you for joining me at my dining room table today. I have a little project I'm going to show that I'm currently working on, and I thought what a great time to teach how I use the diagonal seam tape by Cluck, Cluck Sew for more than just half square triangles. I am currently working on a pattern called Heirloom Hearts. I'll put a link so you can get that pattern from Lo and Behold Stitchery at the end of the video, but I wanted to share with you why I love the diagonal seam tape by Cluck, Cluck Sew so much. For this project, I have a stack here. This is about 2/3 of my half hearts that I still have to sew, and I'm going to show you how I assembled these. There are 28 hearts in this quilt top that I'm making, and each heart has a heart, and each half has, you can see the 3 inches. Let me take this off the pile. You can see each of the 3 different size squares that have to be snowballed to make the heart. That's 168 squares total that, according to the pattern, I need to draw corner to corner on each one of these squares. And frankly, I don't want to draw that many corner to corner because I sometimes tend to find that my marking tool drags my fabric a little bit, or I don't get quite lined up with my ruler. So this is my solution to snowballing and doing diagonal seams, is using the Cluck, Cluck Sew diagonal seam tape. I'm also going to use my Glue Based It by Roxanne's because it has a very fine point on it. So let's get started. I'm going to show you on this little sample what I do. First, I'm going to just put a little bit of glue. Hopefully it will come out. There we go. Sometimes it's slow to start. Just a little bit of glue on the corner. I'm not going to do the whole thing, and then making sure I have my fabric on the right side. I'm going to just line up my edges of my square with my block, just like that. And then I'm going to come and do the other side. Now, I did this very much assembly style the other day when I was making all of these, and it goes pretty quick. It's actually a lot faster than drawing the corner to corner on all of these squares. And you don't need a lot of glue, just get it going. I have to double check which side I have to put it on the larger square. And I actually did put a little tick with my friction pen. I'll show you that in a second once I got that set up so I would remember what side I was sewing on. And because the glue is still wet, you have a few seconds that you can kind of manipulate, get everything lined up just right so that when you sew, you'll be absolutely perfect. So here, I'll bring this one up right here and have camera guy, that little red tick right there shows me that I need to start sewing on that corner. Okay, so let's set that aside. Let's set up our diagonal seam tape on this. Get the Roxanne's glue out of the way. Like that. Okay. The diagonal seam tape, if you haven't seen this yet, this is one of my favorite tools, and I featured this in my favorite tools video. But this is a little washi tape that has a red line that you line up with your center needle position, and then it has a 1/4 inch marking on either side, so you can sew 1/4 of an inch away from that center line if you want to. Today I'm going to use that red center line, so the best thing to do is to get this lined up with my center needle position, which is right there. Oops, don't pull it too tight. Let's do that again. The fun of live video, just get that lined up right there. I'm going to hold that this time while I pull my tape straight down. I do want it the length of my table. I am sewing today on my little travel machine, which is my Foff Passport 3.0, and I have my Sew Steady 18 by 24 inch acrylic table set up, and I am on my dining room table today. A lot of times that's where our sewing space is. So with my center tape all lined up now, I'm going to bring my square in. I always start with a leader and an ender. So I'm gonna unthread my needle, of course. That always happens too. I don't know why, it just gets to happen. Needle in the right position, it's not, there we go. Always, with those needle threaders, your needle must be in the exact position for them to work. And a lot of times people don't realize that and think they're in their home position. All right, I've got my needle down. I'm in my, this is my leader or my thread catcher, because I always like sewing on that. It catches the first knotting of the thread, and it also prepares my fabric to be ready to go under the presser foot. It keeps my presser foot at the right height. Oh, and drop your presser foot. I've been sewing on my other machine that has automatic drop, so that's why we beeped. And then I'm just gonna start sewing. I'm gonna keep my little triangle lined up right here. Keep that corner to corner on that line, and then I can just chain piece just like this. This is so awesome. Just get it all lined up and it's ready to go again. And I don't even have to watch what my needle's doing, because I'm watching right here where my point is, and I'm a little bit off, so I'm going to just adjust just a tiny bit. Got off because I'm doing this in camera. Guy's got his camera right there. Here's the big one, so we're going to do one of each size. And you can see how I just keep that lined up with that red line, and that lets me know that I'm sewing exactly where I need to be sewing to get my half square triangles. I dropped my ender, so we're just going to cut our thread, and I will show you how slick this is, because we've done one of each size of these little triangles for this particular block, and I just sit and chain sew all of them till I get bored, and then I go on to something else. So I would take this over to the iron at this point and press it back and make sure I get it pressed well so that all my edges line up just like they're supposed to. Perfect. Each one is a perfect sew job on that diagonal seam tape, keeping my corner. Now this one's got a little bit of glue, funky. In fact, this one, you can see I'm just a little off. I would redo that one, and that's easy to do. Just unsew it and then reline it up, and I can see why I'm off, because I didn't get a good start at the very beginning point right there. So you can see why that's off, because I'm that far off from my point. But it's a lot easier to fix because my square is still glued in the proper position. I just need to make sure I get that needle started in the proper position. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.